Hi guys, Lovebook Triangle Lindsey here, and this is going to be part 2 of the Roar read-along. Now, this time, for part 2, you had to read chapters 5 through chapter 9, and where we left off is in the eye, or the black market, and Aurora, she is there because she's looking for Cassius, trying to see what he's up to, but this man named Locke that we meet at the end of chapter 4 gets her and helps her because he doesn't want her tricked and bamboozled with all the stuff that's going on in the black market, and then he eventually helps her try to get out. He takes her back to his tent to hide out for a while. He's trying to ask her questions to help her out, but she doesn't want to answer them. And she eventually faints inside the tent. Her wound, the knife wound from her arm that happened earlier when they were throwing knives, had reopened. So she wakes up in this tent and she doesn't know what's going on. There's other people in the tent with her as well. So we meet Locke, then we meet Jinx, and she is a witch, we find out. She could help do stuff with plants and get stuff ready for the storm hunters, which I'll get to in a second. We meet Duke, who is the older man of the storm hunter tribe or crew, and he helps stitch Aurora up. We meet Bait, who is the new kid on the block in this crew. We also meet Sly and Ransom. And Aurora eventually tells them a name, and she comes up with Roar. That's where we get this from. She doesn't want to tell him or them her full name because she's worried that they're going to recognize her, and when she wakes up after she's knocked out, she's so worried that the covering of her hair has come undone and that they'll be able to tell who she is, but luckily it did not come off. So they do some talking, and eventually Roar gets out of there. She goes back to the castle, and as she's trying to get in, her maid slash former best friend, but still kind of a friend, Novea, also called Nova, finds her, and they talk, and Roar wants to go back. She's so curious about things that are happening there. She wants to learn more, because what she found out is that storm hunters don't actually have to have the magic inside of them. They can actually catch storms, and because Roar does not have the ability that everyone assumes she was born with, she wants to learn more about this so she can try to show people that she has an ability to catch storms. Novea tries to beg her to stay, but Roar doesn't want to. And we also find out at this point that Novea has a really big secret, that she actually has an ability, and she has been keeping that to herself. We also find out that people who are born with a certain ability to catch storms but are of royal blood, they have to go into the army. So sometimes people don't like saying that they have these abilities because they don't want to go into the army. But we find a lot of information about these storm hunters and just what they're doing and how they travel to catch certain storms and certain parts of storms, and that's why they're in the black market. They are selling these things to people who can't fend for themselves, and they're trying to help them. And there are a lot of people who are putting sugar in jars and saying that it's a snowstorm, and they're selling fakes, but they are some of the legit people who do sell things. Now, Locke has offered help to Roar because he thinks she's in trouble because of the whole thing with Cassius, but she doesn't really want to take it. But after a trip from the black market back to the castle, she finds out from Cassius that the wedding is being moved up, and tomorrow she's supposed to get married. And there's some other things that she finds out with that as well, and she decided no, she's going to fight for herself and learn how to hunt storms and she doesn't want to marry Cassius. So she is fighting for herself, and she wants to be able to prove that she can do this on her own. She doesn't need him to rule her kingdom. So she talks to Nevaeh, and she convinces her to get some clothes that look like commoners' clothes, and she dyes her hair, and she goes off on this big plan to make it look like that she was kidnapped, so she could eventually come back and be queen. And she goes through this whole thing, and she joins up with the Storm Hunters, and that's where we're at. So I know there's always going to be a lot more information in there. There's might be parts here or there that I could elaborate on, but this is where my brain is working right now. So we're at an exciting point in the story, seeing what's going to happen with Roar and the Storm Hunter crew. Is she going to be able to hunt these storms? Is something going to happen to her when she's trying to catch the storms? Will they believe that she was kidnapped? She went through a lot. I mean, even with blood and leaving a little trail of stuff here and there to make it really believable. But will Cassius still take over even though she's not there? So there's a lot of different questions that we have to wait to be answered in the next few chapters. The next part of the read-along starts on July 15th and goes to the 19th. It is chapters 10 to 14. Remember to look on Cora's Instagram page for different giveaways and different discussion questions throughout the read-along. I hope you guys are enjoying the read-along. I really am. It's giving me time to really remember stuff that was going on. I remember the first time I read this, there was some stuff that was a little confusing to me with all the storms and how certain stuff worked, and I feel like rereading this is just actually helping my mind, because I feel when you're reading through a book the first time you just try to soak it all in, but the second time I can really break it down and get a little further into the meaning of things. Oh, just one more thing that I remember happening in here is that there was this siren that went off and it signaled the change of the seasons. When a yellow flag is hung, it means that it's slumber season and that storms are unlikely. When a red flag is hanging, it means that storms are possible, that you should be on alert. And when a black flag is hanging, it means it's rage season. Protect yourself. So I think that's nice that their kingdom has a system to be on alert for certain storms, and they have certain sirens to help alert the people. So that's something that we also learned in these chapters. But like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with this read along. I hope you guys are too. Let's start a discussion in the comments below. What are some questions that you have on the read along so far? What are some things that you are wondering that might happen if you are reading this for the first time? Alright guys, I'll see you for the next chapters. Bye!